banquet eventually concluded. With the danger behind them, our hero and his mother let out a shared sigh of relief. But the story didn't stop there. The Empress herself approached our hero's mother, praising their safe arrival. She credited her son, the heir to the throne, for their trouble-free journey. Our hero was puzzled, unsure why the Empress would boast about her own son. Yet, as the Empress continued speaking, it became clear that her intentions weren't purely complimentary. The Empress spoke about how sweet and similar to his mother our hero was, but he didn't find much joy in her words. He suspected that she might have had a hand in their journey's success. The castle's finances hadn't suffered as much as expected, and the Empress's sly smile as she departed only deepened his suspicions. The once grand castle now seemed to rely on desperate measures, like using knight's armour as firewood and dressing him in rags and scraps. Despite her veiled words, the Empress wished our hero a long life and bid her farewell. It was then that the unexpected happened. The mistress of the castle spotted someone that left her stunned, the Emperor himself. The Emperor inquired if she had adjusted to life in the castle. She responded with a lie, a normal response given the circumstances. These words surprised our hero. He too desired just one thing, financial support from the Emperor. Our hero's desires bubbled over, and he began to cry out to the Emperor. His cries prompted the Emperor to request to hold his son, a child he hadn't seen for a year. As the Emperor's face came into view, the crying began, but not from our hero. While his siblings wailed uncontrollably, our hero simply smiled, his eyes lighting up with joy. This contrast intrigued the Emperor. He found himself drawn to the child's happiness. The moment took a turn when our hero made a peculiar movement, urging the Emperor to put him down. He wanted to walk, eager to showcase his newfound skill. Yet the mistress intervened, explaining that he was just a year old and not ready for walking. However, in a surprising twist, our hero defied expectations. He took off and began to walk, capturing everyone's attention. In that instant, it was clear he was the star of the evening. He was determined to display all he could do. The crowd, including the Emperor, was enthralled as our hero took his very first steps. This unexpected feat even impressed the Emperor, who realized that our hero was full of surprises. Our hero in turn understood that there is still a little bit left, because he will show him that he is definitely different from other children. He will show it in front of everyone. After all, he is the very same Prince Ariel. However, as soon as he came to the table and wanted to hold on to it, the whole table with the products just took and began to fall down. All the tablecloth, together with the drinks, also flew down. He was very worried because all the products began not just to fall to the floor, they just began to break, scatter and develop. But that's okay, because that's how it was meant to be. Everyone is so excited by the first steps of the prince that no one will notice that this is a well-planned strategy. He chose the right moment because that's exactly what he wanted, and also for a frightening effect. Just take it and shout. He is, after all, a child. While he was lying on the floor, he was picked up by the Emperor, who asked to see him. He saw that our hero was only soiled in wine, but nothing more. He was in one piece and also needed to change him. The maid already wanted to take it from the Emperor, but he asked to stand because she had torn off his outer clothing and noticed the terrible clothes that were under it. All better began to notice it, because why was the prince dressed in such bad clothes? What happened to her at all? However, the Emperor asked everyone to be silent for what kind of life was the mistress, as well as her son, that they live in such poor condition. But in fact, this morning, while he was being changed by the nanny, he concentrated all his energy and began to stretch the cloth as hard as he could. It gave in easily, so he had to give it a shabby look, which certainly wasn't difficult. If he had grown muscles, he would not have had to resort to magic, but the most important thing was that he was able to bear the uncomfortable truth. He was able to bring out what was hidden, so the Emperor asked if the mother of our hero will not deign to explain how this could even happen. Is it so hard to live up to the status? Our hero's mother was very worried, so the Emperor did not question her. There was no point. He turned to his man Jennifer and asked how much money is allocated for the maintenance of the castles of concubines at all, because why does this happen at your event? He said. However, he had given an excellent order to distribute the budget equally, and everything was carried out according to the order. The Emperor could not understand what the word equally was at all. He also asked to bring the report, and as quickly as he could, our hero looked at this, and understood that his father was determined, and that he himself would look with pleasure at the figures that would be in the report. Our hero's mother wanted to say that a mistake had occurred, so he asked his little one back. However, it was our hero who realized that this chance was the only one for all of them. While everyone was in turmoil, and the Emperor's secretary handed him the documents, everyone understood what was about to happen. The Emperor realized the situation, and he couldn't even believe it. He used his power to burn the given paper, surprising our hero. Our hero never thought the Emperor wouldn't know everything. It seemed the Empress was to blame. The Emperor turned to her and asked what was wrong, noticing a hole in his predecessors' and concubines' allocations. The Empress acted like she couldn't believe it. The Emperor's face grew stern as he didn't know that budget distribution was her responsibility. The eldest son tried to defend his mother, speaking up. He said it was a misunderstanding, the Empress wouldn't do such a thing. The Emperor became even more serious, stating the leader was responsible for subordinates' mistakes. Her negligence left his younger brother hungry and cold. The older son glanced guiltily at our hero, who sensed he lacked the Emperor's charisma and the Empress's cunning. The Emperor asked the eldest son if he meant to say his mother had no involvement. The Emperor confronted the Empress, expressing his deep disappointment. She claimed it was her fault, that she was wrong. The Emperor was puzzled, asking what mistake. She mentioned giving birth to the Emperor's child, believing it made her part of the imperial family. The Empress blushed, and the Emperor touched her hand, making her aware of her societal status. This upset the Empress, and she wanted to find and punish the culprits. The Emperor warned this wouldn't be tolerated. She promised to ensure it wouldn't happen again, but she still couldn't grasp his fury. The Empress even approached and claimed she didn't know how it happened, struggling to justify herself to our hero's mother. Our hero realized she was pretending. While our hero's mother fretted and defended the Empress, it was clear she wasn't entirely blameless. The protagonist was utterly baffled by his mother's actions. It seemed like the snake, who knew everything, was right in front of them. The Empress vowed this wouldn't repeat, but only our hero grasped the need for a guilty look. Those women were just using their power. Then, his birthday wrapped up, and the budget hole got fixed. Not even the Empress got involved. The real culprits, a minor aristocrat family, were swiftly found and executed. The servants chatted about the aristocrats admitting guilt, wondering how they'd spend all that money. Everyone was relieved things were sorted, yet our hero sensed the true culprit had escaped. The case closed. He mused that it was unfair, but when he grew up he'd show them. While stuck as a baby, he craved food. All he could do was cry. Now he was being spoon-fed, content with his baby life. He understood he'd be a baby a long while, but he resolved to eat, play, and work on his body. After a meal, he decided it was time for a nap. Enough time passed, and our hero woke up to the sound of a carriage pulling up to his house. Rubbing his eyes, he saw several people stepping out of the carriage. He squinted and realized he could see them better from up high, so he floated up to his window. His babysitter was fast asleep, unaware of the unfolding scene. He strained his ears and heard 3 sets of footsteps approaching his room. One was his mother's, and the others belonged to an adult and a child. Panic surged through him as he worried that if he woke up, everyone would see his extraordinary power. In a rush, he flew toward his babysitter, hoping to protect his secret. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.